All right, Shalom. I'd like to start up with saying Ka Halayim La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Harakak Wadash Ma'amath. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and my elder Heroin as well. Salutation to the Akim that are pushing the truth to sincerity and truth. And peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right, I'm Kanak Samba Yashar from the Lions Den of Yashar camp. And this is another Lions Den news and prophecy. And it's going into this article right here that I was reading, and it says Russia threatens UK military and other nuclear drills after provocation. All right, so you have recently the president or prime minister of France or whatever his name is say that they are going to send troops on the battlefield in Ukraine to aid Ukraine in their fight against Russia. And Vladimir Putin said, and I just watched part of the Elder's video, or Elder Herwan's video, speaking into this. Vladimir Putin said, you do that, and we're going to nuke the shit out you. And they're going to nuke the shit out of not Ukrainian forces, but like places in Britain, you know, the UK or whatever. And ultimately, that's going to lead to them bombing America. Because you know America's going to have to get involved. All right. And, you know, so going into the article, it says, Russia has threatened to strike British military facilities and ordered its military to hold battlefield nuclear weapon drills in a move the Kremlin described as a response to comments from the French President Emmanuel Macron on Wednesday on Western troops fighting in Ukraine, and from the British Foreign Secretary David Cameron on using British supplied weapons against Russia. All right. So that's a provocation of war against Russia. And this whole thing is about, the West invading, moving further east, trying to take over the surrounding Eurasian countries that were once part of the Soviet Union or the USSR. Right. And so Russia was merely defending itself, So they annexed Crimea in 2014, and so as NATO and the West kept moving east, Russia was forced to defend itself. All right, so now it's in the process of annexing Ukraine. This is all going to prophecy too, like referencing to Ezekiel 38. We might go into that a little bit too. And some of Jeremiah. Let me get some of these on deck. But so Russia was defending its backyard because NATO wasn't trying to influence Ukraine to become part of NATO. Bottom line. So and so for Russia, that was a provocation of war. So in response to that, they decided to invade Ukraine. All right. Just want to get this on. So let's go into the article some more. It says the Russian Defense Ministry said in a statement that troops from the southern military districts would practice the issue of preparation and use non-strategic nuclear weapons in response to provocative statements and threats by certain Western officials against the Russian Federation, right? So that Russian Federation is trying to go back into that Soviet Union, which, let's go to this. It says USSR countries, right? It says Russia, Kazakhstan, Belarus, Moldova, Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Armenia, Tajikistan, Georgia, Russia, Kyrgyzstan, and Ukraine. See, that's the reason why Russia invaded Ukraine, because it's going all according to prophecy, or according to the will of Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. Let's get this real quick. Ezekiel 38:4. It says, "And I will put hooks into thy jaws." Wait, hold on. Verse 3. It says, as verse 2. It says, "Son of man, set thy face against Gog in the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal." Right. That's Russia, the Kremlin, and those Eurasian countries. Right, it says, "And say, thus saith the Lord, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, chief prince of Meshach and Tubal." Even though the Lord is setting them up to be, to take down America, right? But the Lord is still against them, man. It says, "I will," like verse 4. It says, all right, it says, "I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and will bring thee forth in all thine armies, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords." Right. So that's the Lord turning them back, right, into that Soviet Union, combining these countries together. Forming those countries back together again, all right, to create that USSR, right? And the USSR was established in 1922, I think. Yeah. It says, let's go into it. It says, the republics of the Union of the Soviet Socialist Republics, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, or the Union Republics, all right? Administrative units of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. The Soviet Union was formed in 1922 by a treaty between the Soviet republics of Byelorussian, Russian, Transcaucasian Federation, Ukraine, and the Union of Soviet Socialist Republic, Soviet Union. All right. It says, for most of the history of the USSR was highly centralized, state-led by a communist party, despite the normal structure of the federation of republics. The light decentralization reforms during an era of, let's get to the point. Hold on. Because I think it crashed and it was taken down in 1991. All right. It says, the number of the Union republics of the USSR varied from 4 to 16 from 1956 until its desolation in 1991. The Soviet Union consisted of 15 Soviet Socialist republics. In 1956, the Kyrgyz Finnish Soviet Social Republic, created in the 1940s, was absorbed into the Russian Soviet Federative Social Republic. Rather than listing the republics in the alphabetical order, the republics were listed to a constitutional order. All right, so no, basically, that was the whole purpose of NATO, to bring the Soviet Union to the end, which happened in 1991. All right. So that now, to fully put Russia out of the way, they were trying to advance in and get Ukraine fully a part of Russia. All right. But what's happening now is Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is forming Russia back into that Soviet Union. Not only is he going to do that, but he's going to have other nations join unto them. Right. This is Ezekiel 38:4 again. It says, "I will put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords." So in addition to the USSR being reformed, you're going to have, verse 5, it says Persia, all right, that's Iran, Ethiopia, and Libya, with them, all of them with shields and helmets, all right? So that's what's going to happen. So we're witnessing our captivity being turned back right before our eyes, man, with all these prophecies coming to pass. But like the elder said in his video, the end is not yet, but this is just the beginning, and through the spirit of Elder Apostle Tahar coined this year to be the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. So even though this is just the beginning, we still are like right there at the door of getting out of here, man. All right, it says in the article, it says the announcement came days after. Hold on. Okay, the announcement came days after the Macron said he would not rule out the possibility of sending troops to Ukraine and Cameroon, and Cameron said it was up to Kyiv how it used British weapons, including against targets inside of Russia. The UK ambassador Nigel Casey and his French counterpart in Moscow were summoned by the Kremlin on Monday. The Russian Foreign Ministry issued a formal protest to Casey over Cameron's recent statement that Ukraine had the right to use British weapons to strike against Russia inside Russia. It said that the remarks made the UK a de facto party to the conflict. All right, so just like how it just like how the dollars is backed by de facto, like that's how just by being that associated with that, it made France a part of the war. Britain and France are going to becoming part of the war just because the aid that they're giving to back Ukraine. All right. It says the statement came right after a Ukraine strike on Iskander short-range ballistic missile system stationed in the annexed Crimean Peninsula. Casey was warned that in response to Ukraine's attack on Russian territory, with British weapons and any British military facilities and equipment on the territory of Ukraine and abroad could be targeted. The Russian Foreign Ministry said in a statement. Right. So not only they're going to attack the things that are in the hot scene or the hot ground of the war, but outside of that, anything involving Britain and ultimately France, and that's going to lead into them turning against America, turning their weapons to America. And then what's going to happen, right? Because America's going to be pulled into this war, just like they're being pulled into the war with Israel. Let me see. Jeremiah. Let me see. Is it? All right. Okay, yeah. This is Jeremiah 50. And 12, it says, your mother shall be sore confounded, and she that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness and a dry land in the desert. America's going to be ultimately totally destroyed, man. It's going to destroy Europe over there too. Britain's going to get some of this. But America's going to get the most. America's going to be utterly destroyed, man. Because Britain's going to all these nations are going to turn against America, man. It said, these shall turn and hate the whore and burn her with fire and make her desolate. You know? Eventually, all these nations are going to side with Russia turning against America. And then Yahweh Shai is going to show up, and then it's going to put the spirit on everybody else to turn against him. All right? You know? So that's basically talking about they're moving into nuclear strikes, like strategic nukes. If Britain keeps supplying weapons and France answers the call to putting troops down there on the front line in Ukraine. All right, so we're witnessing ultimately destruction of America in this system that's set up by the beast, which is NATO, and the financiers, your European Union, which is the dragon. Right, we're witnessing the rise and the downfall of these entities, and it's being done all by Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. All right, Lord willing, this lesson edified and served its purpose without it, like Sekah Halayim, like Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Harakak Wadash, my Amath. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and my elder Heroin as well. Salutations to the Archon that are pushing the truth to sincerity and truth. And peace and blessing to the men and women and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Shalom.